I say boomers, you say Navi 2010. Ready? No, I'm kidding. We're not doing all that. But they do pick up the first map, and that does say a little bit of a statement, a little bit of a testament as to how this is going to go thus far. Welcome back, everybody, to Boomers versus Zoomers. That's right, Navi of 2010 versus Navi of 2020, the current iteration of this lineup. Well, they have taken an L on the first map. Train 1.6 going in the way of the older gentleman, and we do find ourselves situated here at the analyst desk. Joining with me is Jacob and Halvor. We're ready to break this one down a little bit. Anything cool and quirky that we saw, Halvor?
I mean, the fact that Edward doesn't seem to have lost his stat, that's pretty cool. He was kind of just miles ahead of anyone else on the server for the better part of it. And we even, it's not Tuscan, but we did get to see a pistol ace from the man himself. So, yeah, he should have absolute full reason to be confident about his own abilities going forward.
Yeah, did a good job. The USP ace, it had to happen. Of course, we talked about it so much. Tuscan coming into this, one of the most iconic moments in Counter-Strike history. And then roughly the train USP ace wasn't as beautiful. It wasn't as quick, but he got it done at the end. And it's good to see him play at a high level. Simple did put up a little bit of a fight in the first half as well with the AWP. He looked like, at least in certain moments, like a player that actually could play the AWP in 1.6 as well. But I guess that's just natural talent when it comes to Counter-Strike, because he is, after all, the best player to ever touch CSGO.
So we just barely missed it, but we did catch that glimpse of Edward jumping out of heaven and trying to land onto the ladder of the train, and I think he hits it, obviously, because he goes on to win the clutch that round. Cool stuff and kind of nostalgic.
Absolutely, and I guess whatever worries we had about these old boys potentially not being as nimble with their movement, I guess we've got our answered, at least in the case of Edward. He doesn't really seem to have lost his step at all, and it does seem like also the new youngins have I guess wisened up to the I guess the concept of duck walking or duck jumping or whatever you want to call it, right? With the Russian hops. Because we saw that a lot going around on the server. Maybe not to the same efficiency as the 1.6 guys, but they're doing their best.
They're doing what they can, Jacob. Now we look at this and we say, okay, there's still a marathon of Counter-Strike to go through. But for all it's worth, this was actually a lot closer than I think we might have, expected right out of the gate.
Yeah, I think they did a good job, and I think the youngsters, they have to lead into 1.6, right? They have to figure out what is this and how do we shoot, how do we kill, and how do we go about this, and it got better, gradually throughout the game. So maybe they can get it turned up for, if not Inferno, then at least Tuscan, which is a map that I think is a little bit more open in Counter-Strike as well, especially in 1.6. So as I said, if they can go in there and just go for the aim duels, they don't really have to play smart Counter-Strike or use the utility or use the grenades at all. Just go in there and just try to out-aim the old guys. I think that'll be the way to go about it.
So, I come and sometimes go and check out Reddit, just because that's the thing we do here, right? But I did happen to see a comment, and it really got me in my feels. And it was that the CZ models, the Condition Zero models, the HD models, as they call them in the options, are blasphemy. And I happen to agree. I actually hated to watch that part of it, but it was still enjoyable nonetheless.
Yeah, no, did miss some Arctic Warfare models, some elite crews running around. Maybe we'll get it for the later maps. We'll see. But nonetheless, I thoroughly enjoyed that. And I mean, I guess I can also excuse the 2010 lineup for I guess allowing that many rounds, because they did start T-side on train, which is normally like a 13-2, 12-3 kind of a affair. So I think they did surprisingly well. I'm excited to see what they have to bring. I think Inferno's got to be a little bit easier to play for the young ones, but I don't know. I kind of dug it. It doesn't seem like they've forgotten how to spray. They haven't really forgotten too much of anything, it seems like. So I think that it's going to be a tough one for the young ones. They're going to really have to dig in and just hold on, not get tilted once we get into the CSGO matches.
So, well, let's just look back at 1.6 for what we have in front of us. Now, I've got to ask because I don't feel like we got the full glimpse of it, but there's still so many wall bangs to be had, right? And we hear Anders talking about it throughout the commentary, saying, "Hey, simple, now's your chance to try it. If you want to try it, you could do it. You could do it. You could do it." And it's not frustrating, but you look at it and you're like, "Damn, all these walls, paper thin." That's why we're probably not playing Nuke.
Yeah, that would have been fun though. Like that would have been fun to play a map like Nuke, especially with the grenades as well. I think you can nade inside lobby and hit a guy on ramp or something like that. It's just ridiculous when it comes to the grenades and the paper thin walls. But I think Inferno and Tuscan in particular as well, it's going to be fun, right? Because I think these young guys like the NAVI Anno 2020, they're going to learn it by now. They know that they can shoot through the walls. They know they can grenade through the walls. And then I think like they're going to learn by doing. And the longer we get into this matchup, hopefully the better they get at it as well. So I kind of echo Halvar's sentiment that the fact that they made it somewhat closer in the first game, it bounced well for map 2 and map 3. And I think Inferno is a map where you can do a lot of fun stuff.
So let's talk about some of the stuff that we saw on Train. Halvor, did we feel like there was, real strategy being brought to the table here? We heard what Edwards had to say going into this matchup. Do you feel like that's the vibe we got? Do we feel like there was strategy involved?
Yeah, no, I think there definitely was. Again, I think for a lot of people, who are not familiar with 1.6, you kind of have to adjust to the fact that, I guess, the strategies and tactics and whatnot back in the olden days wasn't as complex or advanced. It was a lot of just, we're going to smoke down a ramp and throw a flash and away we go. It took about until 2005 until smokes became like a pretty common thing in professional Counter-Strike. So it's not going to be the crazy setups where you see like an entire site or wall of smokes or anything like that. But yeah, they definitely brought out some cohesion and teamwork in that sense, and that's pretty much what you played off, especially in the later stages of 1.6 when literally everyone was just so mechanically solid and there was not that much to, I guess, explore or uncover in terms of strategical things you could do. So this is just Navi kind of just going by the book of what they did before they swapped over to CSGO.
Now, I'm told we're just a few minutes away from actually kicking off that second map of Inferno, but just kind of looking at some of the mechanics throughout the game, I want to go back to what the discussion was of the FAMAS and burst fire overall. Now, obviously, there's a drastic difference between the two versions of Counter-Strike, and it's hard for me to say that I wouldn't prefer the 1.6 version of bursting with the FAMAS, but I kind of want to get your vibes for it. Jacob, what do you think?
I miss burst fire to be a viable option in Counter-Strike Global Offensive. I don't know why we still haven't tested the grounds with that. I feel like the Glock burst maybe sometimes can be useful, but it rarely happens. And I believe in Counter-Strike Source and even in 1.6, there was a few occasions where you could argue that especially the FAMAS burst fire was super, super strong. So I don't see why we don't try to transfer that into to CSGO as well over time. Now, enough with that, I agree. And I think the FAMAS back in 1.6, at least from my remembering, it was a strong burst fire, right? You could actually hold a long distance duel with a FAMAS and then putting it on burst, especially if you play back plat on Dust 2, for example, or play at a long distance duel. So we're probably going to see a bit of it in this game as well.
Yeah, we don't have Sneal on the server, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see, duels down mid, etc., from the CTs and that kind of stuff.
Wasn't he the guy who opted never to buy an M4 and just go full on FAMAS every single game because he felt that was better?
Pretty much. And again, like if you have laser sharp aim, then yeah, the FAMAS, because the difference between CSGO and 1.6 burst fire is that one works and the other one doesn't.
It's that simple. It really is.
Yeah. And the 1.6 burst fire, both for Glock and FAMAS, is just brilliant. I think that's additions that should be at least, tinkered with in CSGO as well. I feel like for the Glock, it's nice just to kind of, I guess, gain ground, that kind of a thing. Obviously, if you have some sense of accuracy while jumping, if you want to clear corners and whatnot. And for the FAMAS, obviously, it just lessens the pressure of a CT side that's already having issues with the economy going against them as it is. So I think that would be a cool change. And I think, we're definitely going to see more FAMAS showcases and kind of brilliance in the next two maps.
There's some sort of weird correlation that you could probably make about, Halo and the FAMAS and CSGO and how some people can get the burst going in Halo. And no, I'm kidding. It's a stretch. It's a reach. But there's still a conversation to be had there, regardless of the FAMAS, regardless of burst firing. We did just get a glimpse into the AWPs of old and new with both Markeloff and Simple. So how are we feeling about that one?
I think Simple did pretty well. I think Simple held up for his own right there. We saw it in some of the highlights that he actually knew how to move around with the AWP, and you saw his quick shots like we see them in CSGO as well. I think when it comes to Inferno, it's maybe going to be a bit tougher for him. I feel like Markeloff is a player that slowly but surely he'll get into the game and he'll step it up at some point, right? Whereas for Simple, we probably have already seen him peaked on Inferno, on Train. So I don't think it's going to get any better on his end, but we'll have to wait and see. I didn't really see that much of Markeloff with the AWP, I feel, especially on a map like Train, but it'd be fun if he just, bursted out the AWP every single round possible and just gave it to Simple.
Yeah, it felt like he needed a bit of a warm-up. So on the T side, we didn't get to see too much of it, but he got more into the swing of things. Yeah, you see Edward kind of just dominating everything. But,
it's like he hasn't missed a beat here. And, you look at it, Halvor, 27-14. That's a little bit of a statement here in a show match.
Oh, it is. It is. And actually, a little bit of a surprise is the fact that we saw on the NAVI 2020 side, the fact that Boomich was the one leading the charge. He had, I think it was up to 25 frags or something, which is not bad at all. We did see some pretty crisp shots on his end as well. But no, in terms of the off battle between Simple and Markeloff, I think Jacob's kind of onto it. Again, we need to keep in mind, Simple did play at 1.6, so it's not like this is completely unfamiliar to him at all. But no, I think Markeloff's going to get more and more into it, and Simple kind of just delivered at a pretty decent level from the get-go. So it's hard to kind of see him going above that with not being, you know, as comfortable with the I guess just the game engine and the maps obviously being so different from CSGO.
Well, let's do that then, just for a brief second. Let's kind of compare and contrast here the mechanic of the AWP in 1.6 versus CSGO, and perhaps how you would, you know, apply that in game. Jacob, do you want to take this one?
I mean, the biggest difference, I guess, is first and foremost the movement with the AWP, having the ability to dog walk around, or whatever you call it, you know, the CTL walk
yes,
around with
walk,
an AWP,
yeah.
dog walk, you know, and it looks good. I think that's a big difference, you know. You have to be cautious of the way you peek around the corners as well. And then obviously the biggest difference between CSGO and 1.6 when it comes to the AWP is the whole quick scope thing, right? If you in 1.6 were a guard with the quick scope, you would be a pretty good AWP player. Basically, it serves you as a rifle in that sense, you know, when you get up close. And I remember a guy called Fries, a Danish player who also played CSGO in the beginning, used to play for Fnatic. I believe he was one of the best quick scopers in the world, and it looked so solid and so smooth whenever he did it. Whereas in CSGO, yeah, you can no scope, and yeah, you can to some degree quick scope, but not to the same impact and not to the same consistency as you could do in 1.6. So if Markeloff can find some of that, you know, flair with the quick scoping, then we just get a wonderful sight in front of us.
I mean, Halvor, we're looking at what Jacob's saying here. We're hearing what Jacob's saying here, and we're talking about, you know, kind of like micro precision almost when it comes down to quick scoping in 1.6.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that it's completely accurate, if you know, pull it off correctly, that obviously gives you massive benefit in terms of mobility and whatnot. An additional feature, I guess, that you'd see a lot more in 1.6 compared to CSGO is jumping into angles. Again, if you timed your jump correctly with letting, or like crouching or letting over your crouch, etc., depending on the angle at the correct time, you wouldn't get jump penalty as you landed, and you can basically shoot straight immediately, which is not necessarily a thing in CSGO, or it's not, I guess, as finely tuned as it was in 1.6. So you don't really see uppers, you know, if they're going to go into an angle, they'll get flashed in, or, you know, something to that effect. But in CS 1.6, you're just going to see crazy uppers just jump into angles like absolute madmen, which is a lot of fun.
Well, seeing how as we are still in 1.6, seeing how as we are going into Inferno, what are some of the wall banks? What are some of the cool stuff you guys want to see happen? I know there's a boost you can do towards the A side of the map that are just real geeky, really kind of entrap yourself inside of the site and hope that they just plant in that default position. And that's just to name one of the weirder things that you can watch and kind of see the spectacle it is 1.6 Inferno.
There's so many wall banks on the small bomb side, right? Where you can just sit on the bomb side and basically shoot out through banana if you want to. And I also do feel and look forward to see how the terrorist attacking side is going to walk up middle, because I feel like those walls, and again, you know, they're thin as paper. And if you do a crossfire setup in middle, walking up with the grenades the way it works in 1.6, it's going to be a mess for whoever's going to walk up there, you know. So it should be fun. It should be fun.
And you know, Halvor, I'm looking at this, and there's things that we saw in train just now that you're not going to see in CSGO. In fact, there's, you know, another train in the entire yard itself, right? We're looking at 3 trains outside, 3 trains inside. We look at outside, or excuse me, we look at Inferno, we see things like Moto, and I'm sure that Jason Moses O'Toole has a story for that.
Well, he's got me excited with that kind of a throw over to the desk. There's actually plenty of stories here on the old school version of Inferno that we can tell, Anders, if you ever want to, you know, sit down around a campfire, load up Kumbaya, and talk about the good old days.
Yeah, again, I mean, you know, I don't know, just a map that's been played forever and ever. So yeah, I agree. I mean, the Moto part.
Well, I mean, he's actually got like 3 different influences on this map in a way. When this map first got released, it was like I believe it was like one of the first new maps that tried to come into a competitive rotation, and it was kind of awful when it first came out. It didn't really work, didn't play well. In Moto, who, if you were an old school guy, you'll remember his name. Obviously, he was the in-game leader for Team 3D. Played in TSO, which was the first North American team to actually beat X3. Was able to dominate them very well, and eventually caused them to quit and dismantle and bring Moto into the fold. But he actually helped the map creator of Inferno to tweak the way it's structured and tweak the timing so it could be used for competitive play. And due to that effort, underneath what we now call small pit, which is the pit area, or I mean, it's no longer a pit in CSGO, but that area, the alcove right outside of library. We'll point it out when we see it here. There's a Love Moto written on the beneath the little bridge. And obviously, he's got his famous clip as well on this map from the back of the A bomb site where he gets stuck behind the box and wins a pistol round against the Swedes way back in the day. So he's put his mark in about 2 or 3 different ways onto this map. So that's pretty cool.
You know, I just completely forgot that there is that ladder to go on top of that little balcony at Team Mid. What a wild time.
I mean, this is the fun part about seeing some of these maps, some of these things that come back and that you completely forgot about just because we haven't seen the maps in so long. This is one of my, I mean, this is such a great map as well. 1.6 version of Inferno. The choke points are going to be much bigger, towards banana, towards top mid than what you're used to seeing. Spamming is a lot of fun on this map as well, obviously, as it kind of will be on every 1.6 map we see, but there's some very cool things you can do with spams. And here we go. Live into the pistol round. It's NAVI 2020. Start on the CT side, and they're going to push down mid, and they've got the 2 opening kills. Can they recover? Senya and Zeus at the very least not trying to pounce on this in a 5-on-3 advantage.
Wow. Well, listen, the Sumos have got to find a way back. They already lost on train, so off to a big start here. Boomich also picking off Zeus, and just like that, it's a 5-on-2. Oh, and yeah, there's that vent in the window room. That is again something that you might have forgot there.
Yeah, well, there's the bomb being planted inside of the site. Plenty of cover for him to use, but the fact that Senya is all the way at the base of mid, I mean, Navi, the Zoomers don't have to worry about him. They can just take care of business at the A bomb site and get the defuse. And in fact, they're going to do both simultaneously. So pistol round going to Navi 2020.
Now, in 1.6, I don't think you couldn't any longer. You couldn't plant if you were boosted up by a friend on that box, you couldn't plant it in the corner anymore, but there was certainly another version of Inferno where you could, so that if it was a 1-on-1, you couldn't, on the CT side, you actually couldn't get into the corner to defuse it.
Yeah, there were things like that on pretty much every map. Another famous one was on the old school Cobble. You could plant on top of the boxes inside of the B bomb site, and you needed 2 players to boost up, or you had to have someone who was so badass that he could make the really difficult jump to get there.
Yeah. But in a tight situation, maybe you just don't even get close to it.
It was one of the cute things that you think now, if you want to have any level of competitive integrity, it is just unreasonable to be able to plant in a spot where you need 2 people to be alive. That's just not fair. But it was a factor in the game.
No, definitely not. Well, bomb plant at least, but yeah, they really got picked apart in that one. So the 2020 team is off to a very good start here. Great for them. I mean, I think they need it. They're the ones that are started to crumble a little bit here. Of course, they will have a chance to get their revenge when we get into global offensive, but still probably want to save some face here. It's going to be Senya with the bomb making his way into the bomb site, and he's going to get the bomb planted, it seems, at the very least.
Yeah, he is going to, but still just a deagle. And he's got Simple waiting with only 19 HP, not giving up the back holes, but he's going to lose the fight anyways. He's done a good amount of damage, it looks like. Actually, still 90 HP for Senya as he works his way into these back holes. Now peeking the bomb site itself, and the spray control isn't quite there. No kill comes out, and Electronic to finish things off. 2-0 for Navi 2020.
Yeah, this is I mean, it did get a little bit costly towards the end here, but they get the round anyway. Jason, I saw a line today from our general sponsor 1xBet. It's been a long time since I've seen so many events. You can bet on a killing with a grenade, knife, Molotov. But the interesting thing is you get coefficients for these events that are just crazy. So if you're as sure as I am that Markeloff will show up, will show everyone who's the king here today, go on to 1xBet, the website, and win. Also, hashtag bet on Navi. Yeah.
Markeloff certainly is the daddy of this server. see what he's got. Thanks for letting me know about the coefficients, Anders.
You're welcome.
Simple gonna spam all the way down banana. Flamie is brought to 0 as Edward finds the opening kill, but so much damage has been done to Zeus and Starix. Still, banana control is being contested from both sides. Simple and Perfecto here at top banana behind the box. There's 3 players from NAVI 2010 ready to fight as this smoke starts to clear. And there's some spam, and they're getting caught out in the open for the moment.
Yeah, they are. Have they left Boomich all the way alone on the other side of the map? I mean, I guess they are in a 2-3 situation here, so maybe a little bit of an issue. Perfecto and Electronic, though, picking up a kill each, so now they can start to get their way back there if they can help Boomich in time. He's actually very much alone. They're walking right in front, and he almost could have had the double. That would have been huge, but Markeloff, oh no! Oh no!
Not like that. You're supposed to be the veteran. Galil on 2, and he misses the initial shot. That's going to make it difficult. Excuse me, actually, he got Perfecto, but a good trade from Electronic. And another round as Zeus has to laugh it off.
Nothing else you can do. He's got a giant elephant teddy in the background. That's interesting. An
elephant teddy.
I don't know. What is, something like that. Giant bit.
Oh, they've done him dirty with the slow motion. They've done him real dirty there.
It's like he knew. It's like he realized he was doing like, no, wait.
He's like, go back, please, for the love of God. It's too late now. AK's in hand. Galil's as well for NAVI 2010. Flamie's going for an early peek. Those little vents, they're not vents, they're like the window shades used to be. Those things are really nasty depending on which resolution you use.
Yeah, they can be really, really awkward to fight through. You're right. Or, you could have a big advantage. Look at Edward, how he's pushed all the way up here, almost getting himself killed right there from the pit, I believe. Not a lot of grenades coming through, and actually, it's going to be just a cleanup here at the A-bomb side, at least for the minute. Looking real good for the CT side.
And that's the position where Starix is crawling beneath right now, is what we just mentioned in the pregame, the Love Moto, the tribute to Moto for helping to fix the map, and he isn't going to stay there very long. That's why sometimes, I believe not so much anymore, but, at the start of CSGO called it Moto Pit. Senya with another kill, now in a 1 versus 2. Electronic and Perfecto. And in pit, it's a headshot angle, and he's dinked as well. Brought down very low, and the bomb is so far away, so Electronic's just going to clean it up. They're off to a great start. Train seems like it was just a bit of a warm-up game. It's 4-0 as NAVI 2020 are coming in hot.
Yeah, Electronic at 10-0. He hasn't died yet. Boomich up there as well. Things are just looking good right now for the Boomers starting to really make this work. Did you see the attempted wallbang in towards the boiler room? Someone tried to do that in second
I did
mid.
not. Okay.
Oh.
You do love to see that.
Yeah.
Speaking of boomers, there's been a few tuning into this game. I saw Exist from Dignitas. There's your TMP.
TMP.
Yeah, it's back, baby. It's got a kill as well. That's beautiful. Yeah, Exist came out as he's watching the show match, and he said that this NAVI 2010 roster is the most difficult team he's played in any version of CSGO. So a lot of respect from the old school guys.
Yeah, I mean, they really were hard to deal with, so I don't blame them for saying that at all. The TMP will find another one. Of course it's Boomich using the TMP. Who else would it be if you think about it? Makes a lot of sense.
I really admire that, and I think it makes a good case to bring the TMP back into CSGO. And I even more so admire that the last 2 players of NAVI 2010 have juggled the TMP over to Starix as well.
Yeah, they're going for it. Of course, don't have the delineation between the M4A1 and the M4A4 either. So just the one gun there on the CT side. Silencer on, can't take it off if you prefer, but
it was a weird stylistic choice on who was the silence and who was the unsilenced users with the M4 back in the day with the Colt, as it was simply known back then. Good quick reaction from Simple to find Edward. 1 player remaining for NAVI 2010. And he's just now walking up ramp side towards Arch, and he's going to bypass that. He's going to come right at Simple, who's going to be inside ready and waiting, and there's the shot. Starix goes down, and it's 5-0 for NAVI 2020.
Just notice how there's no distractions really. You see the odds there for 1x bet, by the way, at the center of the screen. So yeah, I guess slightly favoring the 2020 team, which again they're up a little bit, so it makes sense that it would tilt that way. But just notice how there's like almost no paintings or anything. Like the bookshelves are there, for the so-called
No
library.
clutter. Yeah,
No
it's all
clutter at
clean.
all. Wild, isn't it?
I love it. I think it's great. Simple with another pick. Maybe just yeah, I don't know. It's got a nice visual style to it. This is one of those weird games where I feel like, despite the fact that the graphics obviously aren't anything like super exciting to talk about, I remember this game for whatever reason like still scaled with how good your hardware was, despite the fact that it never seemed super intensive, which is weird. Markeloff going to lead his way out of the halls. Good kill from Perfecto inside the site. Going to try and hang on a little bit longer. He's paranoid. He doesn't know where they're coming next. And it's back to the B-bomb site we go, where there's not a single defender.
Yeah, they're sort of waiting outside, but although we could tell they could just kind of march in there and then they'd be all right. I guess the smoke gear is what's keeping them waiting for a minute. Zeus, not sure. Going to be a classic smoke that we even recognize from Global Offensive. And they're going to make their way past and not really find anyone in there. I actually remember it as being kind of a big task clearing that whole bomb site. Like, it was sort of a maze almost more than a bomb site.
Well, there's some really cool boosts you can do in the back halls if you get this bomb down quick enough, and if your team has the courage to rotate over, you can boost up out of these boxes out here, which make it really difficult. Flamie, as we mentioned earlier, not going to see the effect of the flashbang due to the 1.6 HLTV viewer, but he did get a little bit blind, so he's held off. And Edward guarding Banana with a wide swing, and it's just this final player, Perfecto. He wins the initial fight, and now he's got 2 to go up against. And I think he's just going to choose to back away with only 8 seconds left on the bomb. And that's a round for NAVI 2010.
Oh, damn. I just watching Perfecto, that's another thing. I don't know if really any of these players would be really disposed to it, but if you had someone who really wanted to do bunny jumping in this, then obviously that would be quite the show compared to what we see in Global Offensive.
Yeah, it definitely would be. I don't know. Were any of these? I mean, I guess Vendetta would know who was probably the best of the movement people. We saw Edward make that little ladder hop on train earlier.
Yeah.
That was really sick. That's a dangerous one. 5-1 in the favor of NAVI 2020 on the CT side. Simple again with the AWP. Now, you can also spam some of these angles depending on where he's playing that make it super difficult for an operator to get comfortable. But he's already gotten 1 kill, and now he's going to peek again, but Markeloff is just too fast. I love
look
this.
at this.
I love this.
They're going to set him
I don't know why they gave it up, but it was cool.
Yeah. For people who don't know, there's a little ledge up there where you could leave someone. They don't have to stay all 3 there. You could just have him sit up there, which is great. But yeah, Markeloff taking down Simple. What a great way to get into the bomb site. And now, I don't know, they have that 1M4, but might be worth it here. Charging onto the bomb site is Boomich, looking for anyone that he can, but I think he's out of bullets, just trying to see if he could do anything. Might have been flashed as well, but he's going to go down. Electronic and Perfecto, look at that. 3 big kills, and now they're back with a big chance here. The bomb, I think, dropped inside of the bomb site, and Edward now in a 1 versus 2. Wow.
Yeah, not even a chance to get things underway. This defense is looking solid now. 6-1 here on Inferno, and they're off and running. So that's really cool to see. I mean, there was a decent stretch on train. They just couldn't put together a full map, but I think that was a great warm-up map for them to get used to 1.6. And now things are starting to look much more comfortable.
They've learned, they've adjusted, they've simulated all the knowledge that they need, and yeah, things are looking real good here. 6-1 lead for the 2020 team. So they're gonna be real excited about all of this.
Off angle on the balcony for Electronic. And yeah, pretty standard fundamental flashbang for Simple as he goes for the repeat towards Rap side. Got to be cautious. He's got a teammate over an arch now as well. But he drops in a small pit for the moment. Puts a lot of emphasis on Electronic, who delivers with a headshot onto Edward. And there's no real weapons. Markeloff has an AK-47, but I mean, man, there's not a whole lot of weapons to back that up. So this should be a relatively easy cleanup from here for the 2020 roster, and indeed it will be.
Yeah, Simple actually catching that shot mid-air, so not bad at all. And they are they're in a little bit of trouble here. You see the attempt. They wanted to try and go for it.
Why couldn't they get this? That's what I want to know. Why is like neither of them tried to crouch to let the other one up?
Yeah, I know. You could have some teamwork going into that, but I guess they were fine either way. But it's a little, you know, a bit disappointing. Would have loved to have seen a cool boost.
I mean, I'm happy they know it, because maybe we catch it a little bit earlier. Smoke
Someone
on
will
two.
have told them. There's no way they just know.
Yeah, well, Simple, remember, did play 1.6, so we might have the knowledge. Hold your phone. Flamie's pushed down middle. He's getting shot from somewhere. Goosh in the head. It's just Glock, so not a whole lot of damage. He eventually does go down, but the defense has infiltrated pretty much all parts of this map.
Yeah, they shouldn't be able to do much of anything. They started the fall quite far behind, in fact. 2010 lineup not really showing up for Inferno. Maybe they put all their practice hours, Jason, into train, and they just weren't ready for this one.
Yeah, well, maybe it's the CT side. Maybe we'll see a nice comeback from the Zoomers once we switch over. Either way, this is a very easy round as Edward falls last. 8-1 now for NAVI 2020.
And if it all goes bad, I mean, we still have Tuscan to fall back on. There's always that.
We do still have Tuscan. That's coming next. That's gonna be phenomenal.
Yeah, don't sleep on Tuscan as a map. I don't know. I kind of still want it in Global Offensive, but I feel like it's been so hyped up now that it's, you know.
Yeah, it's never gonna be. It's never gonna live up to what we've created. We've created a monster with Tuscan. Plenty of nades stacked towards the top of Banana. And Senya's going to make his run into the safety of the corner on the other side. And I don't know if Flamie is even aware of the possibilities. So Flashbang is out. And you can spam that wall to the right, basically all the way down Banana, especially with an op. It can be so deadly. So if Flamie wants to go for some of these shots, he might get lucky. Out in the open, that's way too wide of a swing, but he somehow survives.
Yeah, I can't believe it. He should have probably been dead. He was checking that far left corner, and that almost got him killed. They don't really want to follow him, so we'll see. Could be a battle over at the A apartments as well, because there's a couple of people hanging out on both sides. See Simple's checking it. Oof. Is he going to be able to flick to the left if they show up? Not in time. It's Markeloff for the kill instead. That was lightning quick.
Oh, he takes a dink through the wall, though, down to 8 HP. So doesn't clean him up, but he's very, very low. That's a good trade, though. Boomich and Flamie finding kills at the same time to keep a lead in the favor of the 2020 roster. As he plays over towards Small Pit, and still 2010 just now dedicating themselves to this A bomb site, and they've got to take over Pit, and they've got to do it against Electronic, and he's ducking currently underneath the lip of the pit, and Edward's gonna find him. That's an easy entrance, but Boomich is here with 2 more, and it's all over. 9-1.
Good little cleanup there. I was gonna say it was looking like they maybe could have made their way in there after that kill from or onto Electronic, sorry, but not so. 9-1. You're right, indeed. And things just looking very good for them at the moment here. I think we're back to pistols. Jason, do you think anyone will burn under the Molotov tonight?
Yeah, of course. You know what the interesting thing is, Anders? 1xBet gives a coefficient for this one. They've got a cool line for this match. A lot of events which give very nice coefficients. It's a really big choice. Go to the website right now at 1xBet, and you can win as well.
Perfect. I'm glad you had that for us. It's probably going to be another cleanup round here. They got Edward with the AK-47. Wasn't that they used to call that a Russian AK, didn't they? Where you just pass it along, you know, from one guy to the next.
Yep.
That was a real thing.
That was indeed a real thing. Well, looking good for the defense at the moment. Electronic and Perfecto against just Zeus, who's got a deagle, and he's inside of the A bomb site. But that's not going to do a whole lot for him.
The Boomers have gone to sleep. They need that afternoon nap, you know, a little power nap. And apparently it's on Inferno, which is...
Yeah, maybe some like tea time as well. Get some caffeine running through your veins.
Something like that. I think is that might be what we're experiencing at this moment in time, because they've definitely fallen off a fair bit.
That's okay. They're not an Inferno team, Anders. They're a train team, a train team and a Tuscan team. The nice thing about this, I mean, it won't even really come to pass. But I know some people are like in the chat hoping and praying that we're going to see Tuscan, that Navi 2020 wins this. We can see Tuscan. Don't worry. No matter who wins this, we're seeing Tuscan. These aren't best of threes. These are 3 maps in 1.6, 3 maps in CS:GO. So we're seeing everything.
We'll get it no matter what. Yeah, I really appreciate that. I think that's a good model here.
Ooh, the old double jump.
All right.
You don't have to see that too many times these days.
You know, it always felt like the worst thing if you screwed that up so that you made noise, right? And you're like, oh,
yeah,
well, just forget about it then.
You hated being that guy on your team who couldn't handle the double boost.
Look at Markeloff. Smoke in front, but he was ready to pounce, and so they're up in the apartments as well. Markeloff gonna pick up one big kill there in Electronic, and a lot of pressure on Simple. He needs some backup, but it's not gonna be there in time. Markeloff will take him down. Quick double for him here, and he's looking for a third. It'll be Starix instead to take down Perfecto, and that leaves Flamie just looking for the fight. I think he's gonna get more than he wants here. Just a lot of people fighting him in all at the same time, and there's even a flank coming in. I mean, he can't even really escape at this point in time. Might as well stick around and fight. He's taken off the silencer, so
I think it was Electronic first and now Simple in this round, who thinks like they're impervious to that position in pit, just looking down, and they've been found by Edward and Markeloff twice now. So that you're almost better off just fighting there. There's no half wall to really hide behind, and I think they're getting fooled a bit. 3 seconds left before the bomb goes off. Flamie's looking for one final kill, and now gonna back away. Takes a little bit of damage from the bomb explosion. But Navi 2010 finding another round on the board.
Yeah, I'm seeing Edward, you know, getting some snacks, and he's getting his energy levels back up. So that's good to see. They need it right now. They desperately need it. But that was a good round, and I don't know, I'm kind of surprised that Flamie made his way out alive at all there. But still, it's 10-2. Markeloff back now with the AWP.
Yeah, flashbang over to peer up Banana as well, looking for a leg beneath the pipe, and then going for the wider peak. Senya as well over in the A-halls is going to be joined by some teammates, and a pretty passive defensive setup, so they've got some room to work with. But no one being offered up. No one from Navi 2020 giving them a glimpse, giving them a chance to find a man advantage. Actually, a third player coming over to the B bomb site for defense at the moment.
Against that all Simple could be a real issue, although they're trying to see if they can wallbang him out of position, and they had the chance there. Big opportunity, not quite connecting with the shot. Down to 55 seconds, and they're kind of falling back from that banana position now. They're regrouping in middle instead.
Regrouping in middle and working their way up as well. Just the 2 defenders here. Simple is fully committed in the back halls of the B bomb site, so they've been fooled. It's all a ruse. And here we go, a split towards the A bomb site, 30 seconds on the clock. Boomich is now aware of the possibility, and he's rotating over as well. Flashbang's trying to delay. Perfecto in the open, and Pit has that first kill. Gonna move underneath the balcony. So far, so good. But remember, only the 2 defenders, as Boomich is still stuck far back in towards Library. Electronic has one, and Perfecto's been able to survive for a very long time. And finally, the success comes out, but Zeus is left at 2 HP.
Yeah, they're low on health. Simple will pick up one, and a second one as well. That was all very nice. I think they were actually worried about Flamie running up behind them. I think they had heard about that as well. So they were boxed in. Good entry, but they couldn't close it out. So now it is 11 rounds on the 2020 side. Yeah, Perfecto doing a fine job here. All right. You see some joy coming out. Electronic is loving life for the moment. I mean, they're really off to a hard start here on the first half of the second map. You see Simple wall bang. Oh, did he get that kill? I think he did.
Yeah. I mean, he got, I don't know if it was through the wall, but he certainly found one. Certainly some good sequence there. A headshot coming in for Senya. There's Starix with the AK-47, and he's gonna drop a smoke so that Flamie can get away, but Starix catches him with the nade. 2-on-2 after an intense battle in Banana, but that leaves the B bomb site open for the taking. I can't believe we haven't seen a boost up in these back halls just yet. It seems like the perfect time is now.
Yeah, get that bomb down, go join over, see. They might actually be doing it. They're moving into the right position, but not just yet. Instead, it's Starix with the kill to take down Electronic and Perfecto. I don't know. Doesn't want to do much of anything. Don't know what their economy is quite like at the moment, but guess they have been trading a fair few guns, so he's just going to be hanging out outside here for the minute. Not worth it, in his opinion.
This is it's nice to at least see the older guys being able to put enough rounds on the board to fight in the second half. They're going to be up at 3 right now. Obviously, 4 would be spectacular, but at least clawing themselves out some room to work with moving forward into the second half.
Going for it now. Last chance for the 2010 team to start to pick up another round. 11-4. I mean, you're right. You know, we're forgetting about that too. This is, again, definitely a map where you get a lot on the CT side. 2020 team definitely proving that at the moment. No one really going banana on the T side early on here. Going to go up and fight middle. It's Starix to take down Simple. That was a great find. He was out in the middle of nowhere there. Just getting caught.
Yeah, it was that quick pacing due to the crouch walking. Got him up super quick, and before Simple was even prepared for it or Cotello was coming. So nice little timing to hit there. And Starix has been past the AWP with 12 health, so he can sit a little bit further back. Zeus is left in a lurking position up lane. He's got a teammate at the end of halls who will likely fall back, but Zeus is, you know, at least keeping a decent amount of map control. So if they want to come back to the A bomb site and re-execute, you know, he's in a perfect position for the staging area. Senya looks for anyone inside of the bomb site.
Shout out to Tim in the Twitch chat asking if this is Source 2. I appreciate that.
Way to go, Tim.
Yeah, good job. It's just a sole defender over at the B bomb side, which seems really risky. They've got a 3-1 split with Boomich holding alone out here. So he's looking for anyone. He's gonna try and throw out that flashbang when they get there. There are no underhand throws, so you know it's a bit tricky. It's a bit different. And Edward cruises right in to take him down. He's dead already.
Yeah, and Perfecto with 23 HP. This is the last round, so they're going to go for it. But I mean, it's not enough HP to make a play on your own to create space for your teammates. He's going to try and do it anyways in back halls as another smoke goes up just behind Flamie. And with only one smoke, it's just kind of see-through. It's not thick enough to be any sort of protection. So he goes down. Electronic and Perfecto now left. Electronic with 1. Perfecto moving into the site, transfers over to 2. They weren't even watching it. It's all on Starix, and you can't stop this defuse. Not from that position, and he's going to have to pick up the pace. Electronic's got him, and the defuse is going to come in any second now. That's a 12th round for NAVI 2020.
That's quite impressive. That was got some hands being thrown up as well here. That was a very, very powerful first half. I can't believe that they managed to get that far ahead. 2010 team will have to do some sort of really crazy comeback here. I don't know if that's gonna be quite possible.
How did they lose that retake? Nobody's watching back halls that whole time. Miscommunications, yeah. Anders.
And Perfecto being allowed to run in and get both of them in the middle of all that chaos. That was not quite good.
Yeah, he only had 20 HP. All you need to do is hit him once.
Just the one time, and they weren't able to. So I guess that's what they got. What's coming. Well, Jason, I love such matches where guys are not aimed at the results, but want to make the fans happy and show a beautiful game, which definitely is. And you know what else makes the fans happy? Our friends from 1xBet. Not only did they launch a lot of competitions with great prizes, but they also prepared a very cool line for matches for today's match. There you could bet not only on the outcome, but also on such interesting events as knife killing, personal total of players, and other unusual markets. The guys have it all there on the website right now, so go ahead and bet. That's our sponsor that allows for all this to happen. So we appreciate it very much indeed. Second half coming up, Jason. It's 12-3 in the lead of the 2020 team.
And a long road ahead for 2010. Perfecto with the kill, but Zeus pushing down has found a double and plenty of HP to go back for more. And I would love to see Zeus just showing his teammates what he can do in these older versions. Gonna back away a little bit further. Done decent chip damage onto Electronic, who's down at 27. And there's a Gush as well at long range. And Zeus is still fighting with impunity. And finally, they've been able to make themselves some kind of a passageway. But it won't matter. Markeloff and Starix shut it down so quick. And that is the pistol round to NAVI 2010.
Yeah, that was cool to see. They finally managed to push Zeus back in there, but then Markeloff was hiding. Big double for him. You see him right there. So off to a good start. Second half. That could be what they need. That could be the right step here to try and make this finally work for them.
Yeah. Let's not act like this is an impossible comeback for these guys. Another good kill from Zeus. This is where obviously the experience. I mean, we talk about experience all the time in professional Counter-Strike as it is with Global Offensive, but then you add in the experience of having actually played this game in this map over your opponents, and it seems really unfair to have that level of an advantage.
It does, but again, they do have a legacy to defend, don't they? You know, gotta make sure that you show these kids what it's all about here. Certainly doing well in this round. I do see an MP5 on Senia, but no TMPs. And they didn't lose anyone in this round at all. They're doing fabulously here at the outset.
Yeah, so far so good. 5 rounds on the board for NAVI 2010 to the 12 that NAVI 2020 gained in the first half. And again, another round against just pistols. A couple deagles on board on Perfecto and Electronic. Glocks on some other players as well. Some nades. So plant would be nice, but unlikely, we'll say. Oh, yes. The 2010 on the CT side, we're going to see some stacks, baby. They're going to get that boost going on Rap side. There's about 3 different stacks. You can do this exact same way at different pillars in middle. By the way, that light pole right there is like Wolverine's adamantium skeleton. Like bullets don't go through that thing. The hitbox is all sorts of screwy.
Yeah, that is, you're definitely right. Oh, wow, simple, nice shot right behind the grenade. I think the grenade was so big that it covered any players that would have been up there anyway. A lot of trouble here for Starix, at least handling himself pretty well. Gonna get that 1 kill, the MP5 at medium range. Gonna be hard for that gun to do much of anything. Perfecto and Flamie both go down as Markeloff has shown up for a big double kill, leaving Simple alone.
All alone, 1 versus 4.
Markeloff is really enjoying this. You could see he's starting to smile a little bit. He's starting to have himself a pretty decent time. Simple.
Listen, we have a phenomenal sponsor in 1xBet, but I doubt they have a line created for this. What are the odds that this show match reignites the competitive drive and the excitement and passion in Markeloff, and he comes back, Anders? Because I know you're thinking about it. I know that's a dream scenario in your head.
I still think there's a world in which, like, you know, he just has like the right moment in time. Like, you know, when you've been walking around on your carpets at home and you just touch like a handle and you get like that little sap, like that little spark, and you're like, oh, you know, like just, I think that happens to Markeloff one day, and he's like, oh, I've been sleeping all, like he's just been in a trance for a long time, for like a decade, and then he's just like, I need to come back and play. Like, that's in my mind. Yeah, that happens.
I like that you not only have the idea in your brain, but you've also built up an entire like fan fiction and story around it as well. Like, there's a whole plot. There's characters that have some real depth there.
Definitely. Like, you know, maybe there's like a young kid, like, you know, his son-in-law or something that he's like, you know, has been telling him about, like, tell me about the old days, Markeloff, but he doesn't want to. He's like, no, it's like, I don't want, you know. But then one day he's like, I can't keep it any longer. Like, I have to come back, and something like that. Yeah, there's a whole story that I'm trying to, you know, make. I've contacted HBO, but they don't want to talk to me anymore. I try to get them to.
Yeah, it's tough to find funding for a project like that. Execution towards the B-bomb site, and it's going to be a good trade from Flamie. But Zeus is still here with that op. He's missed his first shot. A boost up can come in to help defend against any pressure, and he pushed, but nobody jumps on top, and it's a good thing because Simple was being the aggressor. It's a 4-on-2, and there's the boost, but Flamie knew it. He's got the first, and he gets TK'd from Electronic, who is sprayed down in kind. And that is the round. AWP is retrieved and recovered, and NAVI 2010 still winning rounds.
Yeah, all of the rounds in the second half so far. I don't know how that team kill even really came through. That looked real awkward, but it did. Oh, look at this. Starix showing us some skills in jumping around up on those boxes.
Senya just looking happy to be here.
Yeah, I bet he is.
He had an unreadable face. He's just a little half smile on there.
It's just surely it's fun if you've had a a career like Senya's to get the call and say, you know what, we're gonna do this. Come back and play with the old boys like that. That's gotta be a good moment.
Yeah, it certainly does. Opening pick for Simple. They've been shut out in the second half, so that's a good find, a good start for them to give them an advantage moving forward. And he's even got Zeus. Holding angles in 1.6, much easier. And those peeks into the ops are so difficult to win, but look at all the pressure being applied. Now some of that skill shining in the open spaces. Senya is the last one left very quickly. There's still 1 minute and 22 seconds left in the round.
Yeah, people do forget the tremendous amount that you got slowed down from being tagged. So if you're sort of doing, I mean, especially it was mental when you and your whole team was trying to make it through a choke point and you just got sprayed and the bullets went through and slowed everyone down behind you as well. And you're like, oh, we're all dead. All dead.
Everyone's going down. Yeah, the sprayed on multi kills in 1.6 seem to be such a bigger thing than they are in CSGO, obviously, right now. Senya trying to save his Colt. Grabs Boomich. Oh, they line up, but he cannot convert either one of those. So the 2020 roster wipes them out of the map. That's the 13th round now for 2020.
Something needs to change here. We could be seeing a bit of a landslide going maybe against the 2020 team, although picking up that round is not going to be too bad. You see the odds here, the coefficients for 1xBet, our wonderful sponsor. 2010 team still favored here.
Yeah, admirably as well. Starix with the op angle down towards middle, and you could see one smoke is just not enough in 1.6. Flashbang comes out, he misses the shot, but Senya and Edward on the other side. Edward boosted up onto the roof as well. That's a pretty brutal position. And they've got themselves a two-man lead. And things quiet down from here as NAVI 2020 try and readjust back towards Banana.
Seeing a UMP being picked up, which... Did you play with the UMP 1.6? I don't think I bought it even
Hell
a single
no.
time.
I didn't even remember that it was still in 1.6. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's like, why is he talking about UMPs?
Yeah, well, there it is. Back from the dead, apparently. Yeah, I think if someone would have put that on like a one of those hltv.org tests, that we love, it was the UI. I'd be like, I'm not sure if it was.
Yeah, I would have gotten it wrong. I would have been like, hell no.
It has such an incredibly slow rate of fire, didn't it? Like, just from memory, I feel like it's like...
It feels so clunky. It just feels awful. But I mean, there's a reason why there were only like 4 guns ever used in professional 1.6 play.
Yeah.
There's a reason why there was so much pushback to adding new weapons and making all the different weapons viable in global offensive, because half of them in this game were just flat out awful. Nice pair of kills for NAVI 2020. That's going to make this round doable. They're both stuck in the bomb site. Simple makes the run to the pit and just gets there in time. One player coming from library. Zeus is going to flank through halls, and I believe that's Senya, who's up middle at brackets.
Look at the fact that they smoke off towards the library, and it's still just a huge gap right next to it. Like, that one smoke is not going to cover everything at all, so that's just a feature of it. Oh, nice shot from Simple, taking down Zeus. He got the first one as well, and that should put them a little bit ahead. Perfecto pushing forward and looking for the last player in Starix, but he's miles away trying to save that AWP, or his mother. He's right in front, actually, but nice shot from Starix. That's wonderful for Simple. That's a huge couple of kills there.
Yeah, fantastic round. And I mean, good on him to take the risk and try and make it to pit when he was inside of the bomb site. If he doesn't get there, round is much, much more difficult. So huge win. And this is a nice opening kill from Perfecto. Obviously, simple finding Edward boosted up. That must have been a quick shot. And obviously able to clutch out the round as well. So that puts the Zoomers up at 14 to the 7 of the Boomers.
Man. They, yeah. They need to get back on the horse here, the 2010 team. They were starting to look really good, you know, off to a strong start here at the beginning of the second half. But it didn't last forever, did it?
No, and now they're out of money. They only really have that AWP on Starix, so he's a sole defender at the B bomb site. Attempted pop flash in towards Halls. Edward's going to push with that. There's the turn, and his opponent has already made it back down the stairs into safety. That was a nice attempt, a good idea. But it yields nothing.
Yeah, not yet. It looks like they will be going for it here. Pretty decent stack at the A bomb site, which they are running right into. So good opening for Electronic. He's going to go down, though, and Zeus and Markeloff will follow into the grave. It's simple boom, which and Flamie with a nice varied opening there. No real multi-kills, but still. Starix, that's a good pick off on Flamie. He's trying to see if he can wall bang his way through. Again, all the walls are pretty much wall bangable here, so just a question of being real creative. But it's a 1-on-3, and I don't think he can do this. Boom, which will take him down. That's 15 rounds for the 2020 team.
Yeah, and that's exactly why he went for it at the end there as well. Just they're still so far behind that he had to see if he could close the gap and keep them off 15, but obviously a near impossible situation. So yeah, it's going to have to be 8 rounds in a row for NAVI 2010 to make this comeback happen from the CT side. At least they get to have a little bit of money. They did force buy in the previous round with armor, so you could still see there's going to be mostly Deagles. There's a Famas on board as well. Looking unlikely. Looking like we're going to get a win for NAVI 2020 here on 1.6 Inferno.
1.6 Inferno. Yeah, I mean, again, just a wild ride to get to see this. It's just so educational, isn't it, to just think, because you sort of feel like you maybe remember what the map might have looked like and how it would have played out, but gotta be honest, not exactly what I was expecting here. They're trying to go for it though. Electronic and Boomich with the follow-up, and yeah, this is what they need, just a knockout punch. That Famas, the only one left on Senia. He's at the back of the site. Oh, he's got his knife out. They're going to hunt him down. That will leave just Markeloff coming up Banana, and yeah, they're ready for him. It's Boomich take him down. That's 16 rounds for the younger team, so they've picked up both the maps right now. Sorry, no, they picked up the second map.
It's split now, yeah.
Yeah, it's split, you're right. And Tuscan is the third one.
Yeah, which obviously coming up next. Good showing from NAVI 2020 here in 1.6. Really good stuff. And obviously, they seemed much more comfortable with this version of Counter-Strike than they did on Train. Also, Train, I think, is just so fundamentally different from the Train that we play in CSGO that I think that had to have been a difficult map. So here on Inferno, at the very least, able to handle it pretty well. It's nice. I mean, even if this was a best-of-3 series, to have it tied up going into Tuscan would be cool. We obviously know that it's just going to be 3 maps, so it wouldn't have mattered either way. But I like this. I like this feeling either way. It feels like a nice little story that we're building. Either way, I think we're ready at the desk, Anders, so we can send it over to Trace and Pimp and Vendetta.